I know there's a difference between good and great, and that's what you're gonna see. I'm just gonna take matters in my own hands, and I'm not gonna let anything he puts in front of my plate. I'm gonna eat it, whatever it is. I gotta just do it because this is gonna propel my career, and it's gonna propel boxing.
I want to make the most memorable nights in boxing. You know, the ones where people go, "God, what a fight, what a night." Something to remember, history made, legacy made. That's why I'm here. So whoever wants it can get it.
That's who you are. I have no doubt about it. But I asked a very direct question. This is first thing. He don't know me that well yet. Who do you want? Like, who's the guy?
Garcia.
Yeah, that's all I want to hear. That's all I want to hear, Dana. That's what I was asking about.
Ryan Garcia puts Conor Benn on notice during a heated ESPN live interview, delivering a strong warning and confidently claiming he would dominate and beat Benn badly if they met in.
Hey, pause. No diddy, Conor. No, you know ass beating me. You know ass beating me.
I'll come over there and fuck you up like that.
Oh, you're getting even more diddy with it. Come on, stop it, brother.
Listen, lay off the gear, mate. Lay off the gear.
Hey, lay off the PEDs, man. Lay off the PEDs.
Open to making Conor Benn versus Ryan Garcia next, as Benn pushes for a major fight opportunity, aiming to prove himself against elite competition.
I saw you on the screen. You were in the ring after Shakur Stevenson won his fight. But Ryan Garcia and the potential for a fight against him is what everybody's been making noise about as well. Where is your head in regards to that? What fight do you want? What have you told Dana White?
Listen,
what fight did you want?
We're going to try and make the WBC World title. You know, I'm mandatory for that shot. I've worked hard to get to that shot. But ultimately, I'm not sure of options. You know, there's plenty of fighters calling me out. So we'll see what's there. Whatever fight the public want, they can get. I'm here because I want to make the biggest fights possible.
What you, Dana? What do you?
Yeah, I agree with everything he said. That's why I'm in the business right now, is to make the fights that people want to see, put on massive. You know what's crazy? So we were together yesterday, and he asked me, this is the state of boxing right now. He says, "Did you watch my father fight?" I said, "Are you crazy? When your father was fighting, everybody all over the world knew who, the champion was, knew who, when big fights happened anywhere in the world, everybody watched. Boxing was big in America back then. So that is my goal, is to make it that way again over the next.
Strongly backs Ryan Garcia in a potential clash, insisting Garcia has the skills, power, and sharpness needed to stop Conor Benn and make
the back and forth. Like, I'm gonna knock you out, and Conor responds that Tank made you quit. Rolly beat your ass, and Luke Campbell dropped you. What you think of that fight if it happens next?
I think it's a great fight. But I think if Ryan go out there looking like anything like his last fight, I think he'll stop Conor Benn. I don't think Conor Benn is defensive enough. I like his intensity level, but his defense don't really handle defense, and Ryan's speed gives anybody problems, and then he can punch too. So I think Ryan stop Conor Benn on some real shit. I think all the 47 pounders will stop him. I think Brian Norman Jr. would stop him. I think Devin Haney would stop him. Whoever at 47.
Is it the weight? Because he looked good against you, man.
Yeah, I think it could be the weight. But also, I think it's just his style. His style is not really that complicated. It's a simple style. And the things he do is simple. He jump in, jump out. You know what I mean? Jump in, jump out. It's like fighting a strong amateur. It's just like being in there with a strong.
Burns says Conor Benn is currently at the British level, but improving fast, urging critics to recognize his progress, performances, and development despite not yet winning a world title.
People have asked me that. I didn't really feel any emotion, if I'm honest. Like, look, I didn't want him to look that bad, honestly. Like, I'm not watching him going, "Oh, I hope he looks terrible." I want him to look well. I was a bit frustrated watching because I think he can be much better than that. I also think that down at that weight, I just don't. I think he's got it in his head that he can make 47 and he can and he can make 47. But I don't think he's the same fighter when he's making 47 personally. But listen, he's had it off. I mean, me. People are criticising him. Oh, he couldn't win a British title. He's not the best fighter in Essex. Look at what he's done. I mean, I would like to say that how I got him in that position was one of the greatest bits of work by any promoter ever to grace the work. By the way, he put the work in. I will always say Conor Benn works very hard, but me, on my tombstone, just right on the thing, I want to say, great.
Algieri and Paulie Moline Aji say Conor Benn is being placed among elite fighters due to fame, not level, as top names react, criticize him, and question his play.
He's going directly talking about Ryan Garcia, calling him out, and of course Ryan is going to be like, yeah, of course, big money fight. And we had some reactions from fighters who were paying attention that night. They took to Twitter immediately. Jack Catterall, hands looking through his fingers with an emoji. Josh Kelly saying, wow, same kind of situation. Ryan Garcia calling him Conor Bum. Devin Haney saying Conor Benn, stay away.
That's what I'm saying. You're putting this guy into the conversation with these guys. That's why they're aggravated and they're annoyed.
Well, it's because he calls everybody out. So
you're mixing this guy into the conversation he doesn't belong in. These are all guys. All the names you just mentioned, they're all in one conversation. They're all in one room. Conor Benn just gets to join that room because of his fame. He's not of that level. He doesn't even belong there. So of course they're laughing at him and they're gonna critique him and all this other stuff. I saw even Shakur, I think, had said something. It's like, Corey, you don't belong anywhere near there.
He says Conor Benn looked poor in his recent fight, lacking experience, sharpness, and ring IQ, adding that despite his power, he has not shown enough to be considered elite level.
You can look him up on BoxRec. He got 5 stars next to his damn name, like he's done something, and he ain't done shit. It's in the fight with Regis Prograis. You can see, Regis was one of those guys that started late as well, but you can see the experience of Regis start to show through. Now, Conor Benn and his team, made the adjustment and went down to the body of Regis and started to slow down and kind of take the fight out of Regis. However, Regis was in the fight. He was catching Conor Benn with some, and it's just the inexperience and the low IQ of Conor Benn and not having enough experience to be at that elite level.
And Mora say Conor Benn looked average in his win, not impressive or elite, and currently far from Ryan Garcia's level in terms of overall
punch resistance, and a guy that lost 2 of his last 3 fights. And Conor Benn was on the back foot, Mannix. He was the naturally bigger, stronger, younger fighter, and he was on the back foot being pushed around by a fighter, a veteran, a good champion. And I'm a fan of Prograis, but he didn't belong in the ring with a fresher Conor Benn, and there you go. They went back and forth. It wasn't competitive, but they went back and forth. Conor didn't have that explosiveness. He didn't have that mean chip on his shoulder. He didn't have that eagerness to go for the knockout. Why? You were in there against an older fighter, a fighter that was injured from what you and others were reporting. So injured, older, less explosive. What the hell are you doing on your back foot? Conor Benn just made $15 million on Netflix, and he didn't try to do anything great. He had the setup there. He had the stage set to have a splash.
Say Conor Benn's performance raises serious concerns, calling it disappointing and a major red flag moving forward. They question his ranking as the WBC top contender and argue it feels undeserved given his limited welterweight experience. They add that before the fight, some believed Benn's explosiveness could trouble elite opponents, but his recent showing changed that perception. Now, they doubt he could beat top names like Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, or Shakur Stevenson, all of whom would likely be favored against him at 147.
For whatever reasons, is the #1 ranked challenger to Ryan Garcia's WBC title. All right, let's not litigate that right now. The WBC does incredibly crazy things with their rankings. I agree with you there. Before this fight, I talked to a lot of smart people in boxing that thought Conor Benn would beat Ryan Garcia, that thought Conor Benn's explosiveness would be too much for Ryan Garcia, who often leaves himself kind of in a tough defensive position when he steps back. He drops his guard, that chin hangs up in the air. After this fight, Sergio, I don't know how you can look at a Garcia-Conor Benn matchup and say that Ryan is the underdog. Ryan, who was on social media saying, bring that guy to me afterwards, has to be feeling confident if that's the fight that gets made at some point before the end of this year. All the welterweights out there were saying the exact same thing. Devin Haney is on social media. Shakur Stevenson, who is not a big puncher at 140 pounds, said he would be disappointed in
Taylor, Simon Jordan, Spencer Oliver, and Paul Smith discuss Conor Benn's performance and broader career outlook with mixed but largely critical assessments of his current level in boxing. They note his move to Zuffa and talk around a reported lucrative deal, suggesting it may extend beyond a single fight and be part of a longer promotional plan. However, attention quickly shifts to his in-ring.
Spencer, signed with Zuffa. I mean, it was interesting that Frank Smith was talking about, if you think that's a one-fight deal, if you think they're paying him $15 million for one fight, it can grow up. There's more to it attached than that. But we'll see that pan out over a period of time. Unanimous points decision. We can get into the mechanics of it, and I'll do some of that with Josh in a moment because he's obviously been in Regis' program. What did you make of Conor's performance?
What did I make of Conor's performance? That he's not a world-class fighter at 147 or at 154. I think that become evident. We've got Regis Prograis there that's got an injured jaw, an injured hand, an injured foot, an injured knee. He's talked about pulling out the fight on Friday night itself. He was shit scared going into the ring, and Conor Benn couldn't get rid of him and actually had quite a tough night with him. I know it was 98, 90, 92 and Conor was winning the rounds, but it was competitive. And I think that what we found out there is that Conor doesn't hold the power down at that low weight. Since he's there, he looked drawn at the weigh-in and the week.
Argues Benn is not a world-class fighter at 147 or 154, saying his recent bout exposed limitations in power and durability, even against an injured opponent. He claims Benn has been carefully matched and marketed, building popularity more than elite achievement. Smith agrees, saying Benn looked competitive, but ultimately limited, struggling to separate himself at the top level. Spencer Oliver and Josh Taylor also suggest he sits around the British to fringe European level, praising his toughness and fitness, but questioning his elite boxing skill and readiness for world-class.
Spence, listen to Paulie Malignaggi had some things to say about the fight and Conor Benn. Listen to him.
Paulie, did you catch the Conor Benn fight? Did you catch the co-main event?
I did. You know what, guys? I'm done. I'm done with it. This guy's horrible. This guy's terrible. I don't mind watching Conor Benn. Like I don't mind him getting the fanfare. He's an okay fighter. Just don't start mentioning him at world-class level. Then you start crossing the line. Because he's not your Jake Paul either. So it's not like I'm throwing him all the way on the other side. I'm not doing that. I'm being a very honest person here. He's an okay fighter, okay? But just don't start mentioning him with these world-class situations and world-class fighters. He talks about Shakur Stevenson and all this other stuff. His name belongs nowhere near those guys, okay? For the fanfare, okay, I get it. People start talking about him. He's got a lot of popularity, and I understand that's going to happen. But don't start mentioning him boxing-wise with these guys. All of a sudden, right away, we start seeing tweets and Instagrams about this Shakur Stevenson fight and everybody. Shakur Stevenson would beat him with one hand. I would beat him.
Bradley says that in Conor Benn's fight with Regis Prograis, experience and ring IQ were clearly exposed. He explains that Regis's timing and veteran skills began to show as the rounds progressed, even though Benn and his team made smart adjustments by working the body to slow him down and reduce his output. However, Bradley notes that Regis was still landing meaningful shots, highlighting Benn's defensive gaps and lack of elite level experience. He criticizes Benn's low ring IQ and says he is not yet proven at the top level. Bradley also points out Benn's physical strength and occasional power, but argues that it does not compensate for his technical shortcomings. Overall, he suggests Benn still looks raw, unrefined, and not fully confident when stepping up against higher level opposition in big fights.
Had some pop, he had some pop. You know, ever since, you know, he stopped drinking that baby milk, whatever that was, he took fertility, whatever. Then they said it's something about some contaminated eggs or something like that, whatever the hell that is, you know. I mean, that makes sense now to me. You know why he's taking that. You know, they say, well, he didn't mean to take it and all this. Get the hell out of here with that. You know, he was suspended for some years, I believe. But you correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know, it was mainly like because he don't believe in himself. You know, anytime he steps up in a fight, you know, the dude is scared. He's scared to death. You know, I'm pretty sure he was scared in this fight. You know, because not only did he have to come down in weight, and cut muscle.
Jiri and Paulie Moline Aji say Conor Benn is in a very difficult position. Caught between elite fighters he is calling out and the struggle to make welterweight. They argue that if he cannot perform at 147, he will also struggle moving up to 154, where the division is even deeper and more competitive. They suggest middleweight might actually be a softer option, but still question whether Benn can become a world champion at any weight class. Following his recent performance, they believe that the goal is drifting further away. They discuss possible matchups, but dismiss several as unfavorable, noting tough opponents at 147 like Paro and others. Ultimately, they conclude that a fight with Ryan Garcia would be high risk for Benn, especially with the weight cut involved, and predict Garcia would likely stop him within a few rounds due to skill and physical advantages.
Push the name Benn, and Anthony Hearn actually did a lot of the work for you. And now, of course, you're in the conversation, and you're constantly in the conversation. But yeah, he doesn't belong in the conversation with these guys. All these guys that you mentioned are on one side of the
they're all world champions. They've all been in the room. They've all been in the room.
Even if they would lose their world title, they've been world champions. They've shown they're the part. They could still, you can match them up against one another, and it would be a solid fight on paper, no matter how it comes out in reality. On paper, Benn and any of these guys is really not a good fight, bro. Like
Abdulma75 has a really good comment. You can't skip British and European level and expect to hang with the world level fighters. This is a really good point. And people, and I've seen comments before. This guy won't even win a British world title. The comments are not favoring Benn in any way. But they're going to, because again, the investment that's been put into him. This is one of those. All right, Ben
appeared on ESPN alongside Dana White and Stephen A. Smith, where the fight was discussed publicly. During the interview, when asked directly about facing Ryan Garcia next, Ben responded by mentioning options, which many interpreted as a sign that negotiations may not be straightforward or fully agreed upon behind the scenes. Ryan Garcia responded on social media by reposting clips from the interview and engaging with fans, including reacting with eye emojis, signaling his awareness and interest in the matchup. Stephen A. Smith emphasized that fans do not want vague answers or alternatives, but instead want clarity on a direct fight between Garcia and Benn. With momentum building both in public and online, the potential clash remains one of the most talked about matchups, though promotional barriers still stand in the way of official confirmation.
The sanction bodies have issues with Zuffa belt and Zuffa boxing. So this is an issue. So Ryan Garcia responds, Conor Benn was on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith on First Take with Dana White, and they announced it, and Ryan Garcia reposted it. Stephen A. Smith said, who do you want to fight next? We know about you and Ryan Garcia. Are we going to get that fight next? And Conor Benn started talking about options. He started talking about options, which for me